detractors and not good for the quality of what we're talking about. Ensuring access for all. We want to make sure that everybody can have access to all of these great resources and to bring things up. Obviously the ADA standards and things like that, but we like to coin it as universal access from when you arrive to where you want to go. And also we want to be efficient and sustainable. We want to have good building practices, and this will enable us to think about what's going to be like in 20 years from now. And I tell our staff when we do these investments, we need to get it right so that 20 or 30 years from now, somebody says we did the right thing. Just like we look back and said what certain people did. And we have some projects in the state that were built in the WPA era that still stand today, that outstrip many of the things that were built in the 70s and weren't done so well. So it's something that's a tall order, but we have to rise to the occasion. So the $200 million is, and the $250 million for the state parks and restoration, including the carve-out for a Flint State Park. But the $200 million will definitely help with bolstering grants for local park and rec agencies, as was mentioned. Obviously, then the areas of the state for stimulating rural outdoor recreation in the UP, and then in Detroit, we're one of the great population centers in southeast Michigan with the Joe Louis Greenway, obviously, and the other major urban hub, the Grand Rapids area, which, of course, is the Greenway to stimulate that, and also to connect to larger assets to the east and the great vast trail system that you have here. So I'd like to thank all the partners that make this possible. We always talk about the fact that it takes a lot of partners, nonprofits, government, and obviously the state of Michigan, and now in the case with the federal money coming in to really make this all work. And the last thing I'd like to do is very much thank the legislature and the governor for their wisdom and vision to put these dollars towards this part of the state of Michigan to make it great. So speaking of great, I'd like to introduce the great Mayor Rosalind Bliss of the great city of Grand Rapids.
Thank you, Ron. And I'll just add to the greats, because it is a great day in our city and state. Oh my goodness, I am absolutely delighted to be here. And I thank all of you for joining us to celebrate this truly historic infrastructure deal. A deal that, among many other positive things across our state, puts extraordinary energy into our effort to grow the Grand River Greenway in Grand Rapids and Kent County. Governor, I don't know if you know this, but a few weeks ago, many of you were with me, I stood up in front of hundreds of Grand Rapidians at my annual State of the City address, and I declared confidently that this is the year. We have dreamed about, discussed, and prepared for the revitalization of the Grand River Corridor for over a decade. And I stated that I was confident that this would be the year that we would really start to see that vision, all that planning, turn into real, visible action. At the time, quite frankly, I did not even imagine that it would turn out to be this big of a year. The Building Michigan Together plan will make a significant positive difference for communities across our state. Across our state, not just Michigan, not just Grand Rapids. But here in Grand Rapids, the state's incredible new commitment to enhance parks and trails and outdoor recreation, this investment will help change the trajectory of our community. With the state's exceptional support to grow the Grand River Greenway in our urban core, we will significantly speed up our efforts to put the Grand River back at the center of our public life. Many of us thought that we would be doing this work for 10, 15, 20 years. Now we aim to get it done in 5. It's amazing. This new state funding, as Senator Brink said, will accelerate our work to rehab antiquated riverfront parks like Lion Square and Anabawan Park, and riverfront parks right here, as you can see, in the beautiful North Monroe. Perhaps even more importantly, this new funding will enable us to get to work more quickly, transforming blighted riverfront properties into new parks and public spaces that make the river's edge a more beautiful and inviting place for everyone. We also aim to significantly ramp up our recreational trail building work. Next year, we will break ground on the new Riverfront Trail segment linking downtown to Riverside Park and the White Pine Trail. We are designing the Riverfront Park Trail system and section that will link downtown to Millennium Park and all the way to Ottawa County. That eventually links us, Grand Rapids, to Lake Michigan, our beautiful Lake Michigan. And right now, we are working with Kent County Parks leaders, and I'm so glad Al Vernenberg is with us today, to develop a Rails to Trails project that will connect downtown, our riverfront, to Highland Park and Midtown, out to Ada, and all the way to Lowell. Think about that. Someday soon, we will be able to, all of us, I'm going to encourage all of you to join me, we will be able to get on a non-motorized trail from Lowell all the way out to the Big Lake. Isn't that amazing? It's amazing. So over the next several years, with this state funding and with other funding that we hope to leverage, that's our goal. We're going to use this money, the state money, to leverage other dollars. We will achieve a significant expansion of our riverfront parks, connecting trails and public spaces to this regional recreational system. These really are thrilling prospects. Taken together, these and other projects to come will establish Grand Rapids as a beautiful riverfront city and an even better place to live. So, Governor, we are so unbelievably grateful for your leadership on this issue. We are also deeply grateful for the leadership in the Michigan legislature. So Representative Thomas Albert, Senator Winnie Brinks, Senator Mark Huizenga, and our entire West Michigan delegation who carried this initiative forward in Lansing, who was a strong voice for Grand Rapids in Lansing. We thank you. It's amazing. Working together, we seized an unprecedented opportunity to make monumental improvements, not just in Grand Rapids, but in Kent County and our entire region, and across the state of Michigan. What we hoped would be one big year for our river ambitions has now grown into several big years ahead of us. Big years of progress towards reestablishing the Grand River as a renewed social, economic, and recreational asset in our community. And what we accomplish together over the next several years will deliver truly widespread benefits for generations to come. We should all be proud of this day. It's a day to celebrate. And with that, I would like to introduce a good friend of mine and partner in this work, Brian Harris, who is the chair of our Downtown Grand Rapids Inc. board.
Thank you, Mayor, and thank all the state leaders for your readiness and your commitment to help our community move the ball forward on a really big thing. It's certainly been a decade-long journey for us, and I believe that this considerably new state funding will affirm that we're moving in the right direction. Our big, bold vision for Grand River is rooted in reality, shaped over years by a diversity of community voices and cross-sector collaborations, and that gives us great confidence to move forward with this community's most important priority. And we're moving forward together in a bipartisan fashion and in a state and local partnership way. Greenways are proven drivers of economic value. We know this because we've studied it. We've studied the impact of Greenway investments in other communities. We know that those experiences of expanding urban parks and trail systems, especially along rivers and waterfronts, catalyze the redevelopment of vacant land, promoting housing development, and unlock economic opportunity for all residents. We're already beginning to see this type of investment in the downtown Grand Rapids area, as the anticipated Greenway and river project have begun to catalyze, at this point, thriving $420 million worth of investment. The first goal of our GR Forward master plan is for river restoration and to develop it as a draw for economic development opportunities as well as for social opportunities. Not like ornaments on a Christmas tree, but rather the branches of a sturdy fruit tree. This investment will yield many things, including diversity of community engagement, inviting access. It's going to be a we thing, not a they thing. Economic drivers in countless ways, including tourism, entrepreneurialism, talent protection and retention, and expanded tax base. A socialization platform for shared recreational and nature experiences, and Lord knows we need to have more shared common experiences these days. Connection between residents, neighborhoods, and regional communities. A connected region is a strong region. Environmental and sustainability tenets, to be good stewards of all resources, financial and natural. Health and wellness support. Heck, I might even get this old body a tune-up by walking the trails and putting a paddle in my hand in the river. Look, we've got a broadly supported plan to invest in our potential, and now we're poised to accelerate our implementation efforts. Growing a Grand River Greenway is the first and foremost project for the people of Grand Rapids and for Kent County. And all will have the opportunity to share in the benefits, and while we refer to it as a Greenway, it will remain the river for all. So all that's left to do today is to sign this thing. So to that end, please help me in welcoming Governor Gretchen Whitmer.
Well, thank you. I'm really excited about being here today, and I appreciate so much enthusiasm for the work that is reflected in this bill. And we've got legislators here from both sides of the aisle, from both all the way on the Detroit side of our state, and if you're looking out on the river and you're in downtown Detroit, to the west side of the state, looking out on Lake Michigan. This was an incredible bipartisan effort that has culminated to this moment. And so, Senator Brinks, thank you for your leadership. Todd Port, who is the owner of this fine restaurant, thank you for hosting us and letting us come inside. It's a little chilly out there. Senator Bumstead, Representative Hood, Representative LeGrand, so pleased that you are joining us here today. Representative Tate as well, who came from Detroit to join us this morning. Mayor Bliss, who's been a relentless advocate and has really been a big part of making sure that we were able to get this over the finish line. Ron Olson from our DNR, he does a phenomenal job, and this is how everyone in the DNR shows up every single day in their work clothes, ready to get to work. And Brian, thank you for your leadership in this space as well. So this is great. We are here today to celebrate what really is a big win for everyone in the state of Michigan. Today I'm going to be signing the Building Michigan Together plan. And this is a bipartisan plan that truly is fiscally responsible and will make some of the largest infrastructure investments in our state's history at a time where we need that more than ever. Building on work that we have been doing to fix our roads and upgrade pipes and dams and so much more. So once again, we've proven that in Michigan, Republicans and Democrats can come together to get things done. And if we keep the needs of the people of our state front and center in all of our work, we're going to be able to continue this momentum and get a lot more done. Even in tough times, we have shared challenges and priorities, and we can be a model for the rest of the country to look to how things are moving forward with our grit and determination and bipartisanship. And we've done it time and time again on 3 balanced bipartisan budgets, historic economic development legislation that helped us land a $7 billion investment by General Motors, largest in the company's history, building batteries and manufacturing of the future. And there's just so much more in this plan to celebrate today. So I'll start with talking about the Grand Rapids, the Grand River Greenway, which everyone here is, I know, very excited about. It's a very cool project, and it is a bold vision to expand accessibility to the riverfront green space in Grand Rapids, one of our fastest growing cities. 28 miles of new recreational trails will cover 9,000 acres, connecting neighborhoods and small businesses and people in downtown. And it'll be a place for Michiganders to exercise, to take a walk, to grab some food or a drink. And I personally look forward to connecting with some of my friends with whom I grew up in Cascade to get down here, get a little exercise, and grab a bite to eat at the Pyramid Scheme or right here, or going and grabbing a beer at one of the phenomenal breweries downtown. Now, the Grand River Greenway will result in more green for our economy as well. Our investment is going to be attracting new businesses in the area. It's anticipated to spur $17 million in recreation spending and leveraging $420 million in private investment to help build more housing along the water and so much more. This project's going to improve the quality of life for residents and generate new opportunities for small businesses, including Linear Restaurant right here, and create good paying jobs. So this is an exciting moment to celebrate some of the amazing things that are happening right here in Grand Rapids. The Building Michigan Together plan also makes the single largest investment in our state and local parks in Michigan history. And we know the last couple years have been challenging, and that's a great understatement, I know. But we've also been able to get outside, even in the height of a pandemic, and enjoy our beautiful parks, which really set us apart from anywhere else in the world, frankly. So in addition to the Grand River Greenway, this plan will improve all 103 of our state parks and hundreds more local parks while increasing tourism, outdoor recreation, and supporting businesses in all the surrounding communities. And we're building another Greenway in Detroit and a new park in Flint. Now I want to just take a second to talk a little bit more about that. In one of my first meetings with Director Eichinger, who is the head of DNR for the state of Michigan, he was talking to me about how 82 counties have state parks in them. Now, you all know we got 83 counties, so of course my question was, what county doesn't yet have a state park? And it was Genesee County, if you can believe that. And so Genesee County is getting a state park as a result of this work today, and I'm really excited about that aspect too, because people in Flint deserve great outdoor recreational opportunities, just like people in the 82 other counties. So in addition to historic investments in our beloved parks, this plan will help us continue fixing the dam roads. And the dams and roads, by the way. And that's going to be the same this year, right? We're fixing the dams and roads. In addition to historic investments in the parks, since I took office, we have rebuilt and repaved 13,000 lane miles in Michigan, over 900 bridges, employing 82,000 people doing that incredibly important hard work. We're fixing the roads the right way. We're using the right materials and mix so they stay fixed, and with contractors ensuring that employees are making prevailing wage, so we're all getting the best value for our tax dollars. And the Building Michigan Together plan keeps us moving forward by supporting that ongoing work and initiating dozens of statewide projects. In West Michigan alone, there are 19 projects planned over the next few years supporting 1,400 jobs. And this plan will support 4,000 jobs just fixing freeway ramps, improving vital commercial corridors, and keeping drivers safe on the road as you go to work or drop your kids at school. So we're also going to be rebuilding regional airport runways, refurbishing terminals, increasing their capacity, and will help fund public transit projects to ensure they can continue serving their communities effectively and efficiently. And of course, we're looking at water. Water defines who we are, so we want to talk a little bit about water. This is a top priority for us as a state, no matter who you are or what part of the state you hail from. Michigan, Building Michigan Together plan invests 15 times what we do in a typical year to rebuild our water infrastructure. It's our usual investment in water infrastructure is 15 times greater this year because of federal resources that we have received. It is the single largest investment in water infrastructure in Michigan history. Now, the plan will protect access to safe drinking water at home, school, and work. It will help us tackle toxic contaminants like PFAS and fix more sewer systems across our state. This will support 27,000 more good-paying jobs and help us replace 20,000 lead service lines across the state and build so much more. We also are expanding our work when it comes to high-speed internet and affordable housing. Every Michigander deserves an affordable, attainable place to call home and a reliable connection to high-speed internet. So both housing and high-speed internet form the basis for economic success in today's day and age, and that's why bridging this digital divide is a top priority that our incredible Lieutenant Governor has been spearheading on all of our behalf. This plan will help thousands of families and small businesses get access to reliable high-speed internet so they can more fully participate at work, in school, and compete in the global market. And as I always like to say, if you nowadays can work from anywhere, why not work from the most beautiful place on earth? So we got to make sure we got that broadband so we're competitive in that space too. So this is going to help over 100,000 families stay in their homes with mortgage and rental assistance and finance energy-efficient home repairs for homeowners, further lowering costs. And it will fund the construction of affordable housing units to house thousands of Michiganders, giving stable foundation to many families who desperately need it. So I'm really proud of this plan. It's a great day, one of many to come. We should continue the spirit of collaboration to get a balanced bipartisan budget passed that doesn't raise taxes, and in fact, I'm hopeful that we can decrease the tax burden on retirees and working people in the state of Michigan. Or at least one person's excited. I put out my budget proposal a couple months ago, and I'm excited about working with the legislature to get it done. The budget, I think, is an opportunity for us to show what we really value in this state. Like anyone's home, where you spend money on are the things that are important to you. And ours needs to reflect that. Our kids, our skills, our competitiveness, these are the things that center who we are here in Michigan. And we have a unique opportunity to do big things right now. We turned a $3 billion projected deficit into a $7 billion surplus. We have an opportunity right now, unlike anything we've seen in decades. Today's action is a big step in the right direction. I'm excited about it. We're having the best economic recovery in our state's history since this pandemic began. We've created 21,200 auto jobs and counting in the last couple of years. $400 refund checks for people who own vehicles that are insured in Michigan are hitting the mailboxes right now. Our kids are learning in person as they should be, and there are a lot of signs that we are on the right track. Not everyone's feeling it yet, but because of these investments, everyone will. So I thank the legislature who is here in great numbers and on both sides of the aisle for their leadership and partnership in this space. None of us does any of this alone, but together we are capable of incredible things. So thank you all for being here. I am going to put my signature on these bills and make it a reality, and I'd like to invite legislators who are here up to take pictures with us. But I think we're going to do that after I come back and do Q&A. I'll jump back and we'll pretend that I'm signing it again. I'll save this one for when we bring the legislators up. I'll sign the second one. All right. Now it's time for a little Q&A with the press. So, Stacy, take it away.
We'll open up to questions from the press. Just the press, please. Whoever wants to start. Will this be enough money to ensure that another water crisis like Flint and Benton Harbor doesn't happen again in Michigan?
So this represents a historic investment. We know that Michigan is ahead of the rest of the country when it comes to testing. We've got higher standards than anywhere else in the nation. We've got a lot of old water infrastructure all across the country, and that's true here in Michigan as well. Obviously, there were very different circumstances in Flint that we're working very closely to make sure that we're back online. Same with Benton Harbor, old infrastructure in a community that didn't have resources to fix it. So we are lending an assist. The state is moving fast there. But there's no question that there are old lead pipes all across the state that are bringing water into our homes. When the water's treated, when it's maintained, it's safe to drink. However, we know that it's important that we continue our work to replace these lines. So these resources will go a long way toward making sure that we're protecting people and the quality of their drinking water.
Governor, this is a big supplemental bill, but it's not all of the federal money that's available to the state. Can you give me a ballpark of how much more is left and maybe some ideas of where you would like to see that money allocated when it comes time to do it?
Yeah, so, as you pointed out, Rick, we've had some incredible opportunities with the resources that the federal government has gotten to us. And I think it's important to thank people like Senator Stabenow and Senator Peters and a number of folks in our congressional delegation that were helpful. The point is, though, that we've got to deploy these resources for them to do the good that they were intended to do. And Michigan is behind what other states have done. A lot of other states have already deployed everything that they've received. In fact, most Midwest states have already done that. And so every day that these dollars aren't appropriated has an opportunity cost with it. We see inflation continue to eat more of what we're able to do with these dollars, and certainly workforce is another complicating factor. So I've been trying to encourage the legislature to move quickly with us to prioritize things like this. I'm glad we're here today. I'm certainly not criticizing. I'm just acknowledging that there is a cost to not moving fast and strategically. I'll also point out that there is an effort in Washington, D.C. to claw back some of the resources if we've not invested them yet. So that, in addition, is another potential threat to our ability to realize the opportunity in this moment.
How much remains?
The budget office, I believe, said that it's $2 billion. This represents 4.7. We've already deployed some resources. We're also going to be receiving additional resources thanks to the infrastructure package that will start coming in May and will continue for the next 5 years. So it's a good problem to have, but I don't like having the problem that these dollars are still uncommitted and not deployed yet.
This morning here in Grand Rapids, the Kent County Convention Arena Authority exercised an option to purchase about 11 acres along the Grand River for development of a $116 million amphitheater. Part of that project has had a $30 million request to the state to help fund it. Are you familiar with that request, and where do you stand on it, Governor?
I'm not, and at this juncture, I think we've got an opportunity to get a budget done that can enhance some of the work that is reflected in these bills. I remain open and eager to start negotiating with the legislature as to what the terms are, but I'm not in a position to speak to that particular item. I don't know if anyone else. Okay.
Governor Whitmer, you mentioned tax relief in your remarks. The Republicans have made it known that they really want to do something with tax relief during the rest of this term. I guess outside of what you've already put on the table, where do you see areas that you could make, some progress, some ground? What are things that you're maybe hearing from Republicans that you are actively entertaining as a possibility for tax relief?
Well, I think that, right now, the legislature, they did an incredible amount of work this last week. They're not in town this week or next, but when they return, I anticipate that the budget process will continue and probably start gathering speed. It's going to be crucial that we are negotiating. We've been able to accomplish so much together. I recognize that this is an even-numbered year, which sometimes makes those conversations challenging, but I'm going to stay at the table until we get a budget done that both is focused on giving people relief, making investments that give people relief as well, and ensuring that it is balanced and done on time. So I know municipalities and school districts alike are waiting to hear what they are going to be working with as they look to their budgets that start on July 1st. So we can't afford to let it go late, and we've got to be at the table and get it done. The tax relief that I've proposed are the earned income tax credit. That is something that is really important. There are people who work full-time in our state who cannot meet their daily needs of their family, giving them the earned income tax credit. It represents about $3,000 for 730,000 families. But the best part about that particular policy is that it helps 1 million children. Half the kids in Michigan are in homes where their parents work full-time but don't make enough money to just take care of the basic needs in the household. This is a huge opportunity for us to do a great deal of good for a lot of people that really are struggling with inflation and all the other financial pressures. Additionally, repealing the retirement tax. I was opposed to it when it went into effect 10 years ago. I was the leader of the Democrats in the Senate. I was fighting that, and I've been vowing to get rid of it ever since. We've got an opportunity right now, and that would give relief to older Michiganders who are retired and living on fixed incomes and can't bear the weight of the inflation either. So these are the two spaces I'm hopeful we can find common ground on. I think you've seen it included in some of the work that the legislature's done, but I'm interested not in just talking points, but giving people relief that is meaningful right now.
That's all the time we have for questions today, but thanks so much, everybody.
All right, I'm going to sign the next bill, and if all the legislators want to join us, that would be fantastic. All right, great. Everything's out of order, so you get How you doing, Robert? Good to see All right, come on. Funny discussion, but you want to hold it with me? I'm not going to drop it.